Welcome to Tuesdays with Dr. Tracy. Tuesdays with Dr. Tracy. Okay, that's my little dance right there. I am so glad that you all were able to join us today. But first things first, OMG. Okay, I know I said the special guest today. For those of you picked up on the advertisement that I sent out, but there will not be a special guest today. Well, I mean, yeah, I could say I am a special guest, sort of, kind of, but no, really. That's not going to happen. So, sometimes life just happens that way, right? So we thought we were, and then we had a backup, but then that didn't happen. Then we almost had another backup, but it almost didn't happen. So, you remember what Kevin Hart said? He would be like, what had happened was, or the way my bank account set up, by the way this was set up today. So I hope you all are not disappointed. So you just want to hang out with me for just a short while. I'm not going to keep you too long today, but I am excited about some of the things we will be talking about.
Arnold also said, "Hey, Dr. Tracy."
Hey, guys, how are you? I'm so glad you tuned in today. I want to say first, for those of you who celebrate Christmas, again, a very Merry Christmas. I hope you had a wonderful day yesterday with family and friends and good eats. It was definitely a time to be had. So thankful for family and friends. And now we also celebrate Kwanzaa. Today is the first day of Kwanzaa, okay, with unity, Umoja. So we're going to celebrate unity, right? And you really can't talk about unity until you talk about unity within oneself. Okay, you like unity, you mean you have to be good about other people. No, because sometimes we're so fragmented on the inside that we do not represent wholeness within ourselves. So sometimes what we end up doing is moving into spaces and places to try to bring unity, but we have a fragmented spirit. So let's work on that unity within ourselves and within our own households, right? Because sometimes our households are fragmented, and we need to work on that. Husbands and wives, parents and children, siblings, we have to work on those things within our own household so that we can then take that spirit and heart of unity and of love out into our community, and then we can push a little further, take it into the nation, and then of course we take it amongst ourselves as a people with a Pan-African spirit to share that unity all around the world amongst Black folk, African and African American folk, or those within the diaspora, the African diaspora, right? So we do that, and then we can also just talk about changing the world. And that's what we hope to do during this Kwanzaa season. So yay, so let's start our Kwanzaa season off right. There are some things going on this week here in Sankofa that we are also very excited about. It is a 30-year anniversary for the movie Sankofa. Okay, for the movie Sankofa, we have a flyer here. I don't know if you all can see it. Hopefully you can. There will be on the 30th, on December 30th, there will be a 5:30 preview of Halle Garima's new film that will be coming out, Black Lions Roman Wolves. Okay, this is a 10-hour documentary. It's 5 parts. I'm going to hold up this flyer for you as well so you can see that. It is going to be amazing. It is about the Ethiopian War with the Italians in 1935. And so he's going to give you some personal accounts of this, some memories, some folklore, poetry, war chants, you name it. It's going to be an amazing film. It's a collective spirit of resistance that ensured Ethiopia's victory and enduring independence from colonial greed. So Black Lions, Roman Wolves. So I hope you all can definitely come out and support that. So what's going to happen on that day, how it's going to go down, is that at 5:30, that's going to be a preview of the of that upcoming film at 5:30. At 6:45, there will be a silent auction, and then at 8 o'clock, there's going to actually be a viewing of the movie Sankofa, and then a question and answer period with both Hale and Sharikiana Garima to discuss Sankofa and some of their upcoming projects. All of this is being done by Positive Productions Inc., okay, which is their foundation. And what that is the foundation where they use the money to actually support this film, which is why it is a fundraising event. So it costs $50 to register. You can register at sankofa.com. That is sankofa.com, SANKOFA.com for those who might just be joining in or new to Sankofa. You can go to the website and you'll see where you can register. But if you're unable to make it and you still would like to just donate, there are options there too to show you how to donate to Positive Productions Inc. So it's going to be a big weekend here in Sankofa, and we would like to show some love to both Hale and Sharikiana for celebrating 30 years of the movie Sankofa. So I hope you all will be able to come out and join us. And so that's what's going down there. Now, as we move forward, and I really hope you all come out because you get to see some of the work that Positive Productions is doing, like some of the community work they're also doing. So you know it's the big film that's 10 hours, 5 parts. That's going to be a huge documentary, and it's going to be amazing. And then you have the students that Hale and Sharikiana work with, okay, that they're teaching about film and editing and all the wonderful things that go into producing a film. And so that's part of their community outreach, and they're doing some amazing things. So hopefully you'll get an opportunity to meet with and chat with some of them as well, so they can share with you the work. And they will also, Hale and Sharikiana will also share more with you on the 30th about what it is that they do with Positive Productions Inc. There is so much. It is a wonderful umbrella. So, yeah, so let's celebrate them and support them as much as we can so that they can continue to produce amazing films that represent us within the African diaspora. All right? All right. So, now on to other things. Like I said, I really hope that you all enjoyed and had an amazing holiday. I know that some of you all are probably still suffering from itis, still stuffed from food from yesterday, and enjoying the leftovers today. Yes, I saw some beautiful spreads online. I saw ribs, I saw chicken, I saw turkey, macaroni and cheese, and sweet potatoes, and rolls, and pies, and all these other things. If I keep on talking, I'm going to have to say excuse me so I can go grab me a plate from somewhere. But I do hope you enjoyed yourselves. Now, for those, I know there are some who have lost loved ones this year, and unfortunately, I saw with some lost loved ones on Christmas Day. So please know that I send you my love. I send you so many hugs. And please know that there are people out here who love you, who support you, and who understands what you're going through. I can really relate. I lost my mom in 22. So I know it can be a lot when that person is no longer present, okay? At the dinner table or in the house or part of the family activities that would usually take place. So I pray for your peace and comfort during this time, especially throughout the holidays, and that God will give you the strength to be able to move through as you look forward to entering into a new year. So please accept my condolences as well as my support and love towards you if you have indeed lost a loved one during this time. So that's that. Matter of fact, let's just take a moment of silence for those, okay, who have lost loved ones during this time. Thank you, Lord. And that's also for those who are in places where there's war going on. So you see a lot of loss of life there every day. You can see it on social media, in the news. It is a constant loss of life, almost probably to the point where those communities are becoming numb because they're so stricken with grief and pain. So we pray for them as well. We pray for their peace. We pray that war will stop. But while we're praying, I know there is divine intervention, but we also have our role to play as well, right? Where we must do what we can to see that these wars end. That's putting pressure on our government, right? That there may be a cease of fire, that we will continue to lift our voices and come together in unity to help fight against those to help stand, yes, and fight against those who are supporting genocide and senseless wars around our world. That we have to bring attention to those things. And instead of bombing folk, how about us trying to unify to figure out how we can support and help each other in this globe, in this world, on this earth. We have so many other major issues that we need to figure out and find solutions to, like climate change, right? Homelessness. We have so many diseases without cures, okay? Like HIV, okay, AIDS, cancer, and tuberculosis. We can go on and on and on of the different diseases that are out there. So instead of us trying to blow up each other and do all of these things, if we can work together, we as humanity can accomplish so much more to deal with the world's problems. So I hope we will be mindful to do more of that. This week now is getting time. You know what this means. As soon as we get past Christmas, some of us will start to take down some of the Christmas decorations, okay? And some will leave them up for about another 3 to 4 months. Yes, I know how that is. But beyond that, what usually starts to happen is people start to prepare for the new year. So New Year's is right around the corner. So we start making all these resolutions. And you all have to put in the chat, please, like what New Year resolutions do you have? Or which ones are you trying to renew from last year that you did not actually, get a chance to do? You didn't quite get around to that thing. I know sometimes you're like, oh man, we're going to eat healthier. We're going to go to the gym and we're going to exercise. And sometimes we do this for about a good 2 to 3 months, and then somehow or another, it doesn't become a habit. It kind of dies off, and it's life as usual. So I hope you all will share online some of those New Year resolutions that you had, or the ones that you did make, and you were actually able to accomplish those. Okay, I want to hear about it. I want to know. Because I think it's very important as we enter into a new year that we set our minds on those new things. And sometimes as we come out of the year that we end, there are so many things that happen, and sometimes there's even negative energy. And we want to leave that behind and take into the new year that newness of mind and, when we start to have hope, enjoying what could be and what can be. There are some things we know we can't do, we can't change, but there are many things that we can. So let's work on the things that we can change. If there's something you like, hey, you know what? My block has a lot of littering on it. I can't stand it. I go out there, man, they're like potato chip bags and soda bottles and things like that. But you know what? That's something you can change. You can go out there and start the effort, and others from your community just may join in. Or you can start a group from your community to see, hey, who else want to clean up this stuff out here? And let's go about doing that. You may know of a family that's struggling in your neighborhood, right? And you can go help them. It's the little things sometimes that we can do that helps to lead to the bigger things. We can talk talk about our passions. Well, like, what do we desire to do? What do we want to accomplish? How will we start to work towards those things, Because most often we just don't jump from that where we are to that big thing. There is a process, there are things we have to do to get there. Like if someone wants to be a medical doctor, like a surgeon, they just don't go from, that thought to being a surgeon. No, they have to go through a process. They have to go through certain types of education, and certifications and training and so on and so forth. So we have to be willing to put in the work to do some of the things that we want to accomplish coming up for the new year. So if you have some New Year resolutions that you wouldn't mind sharing with us, we would love to hear them to see what's on your mind. Like someone out there maybe thinking about writing a book for the first time. Of course, we're going to talk about books. This is like Gopher, right? So yes, definitely someone may be out there thinking about that. And they're like, oh man, it just seems like a big task. It is. But guess what? Every time you do something more towards that task, it shrinks. It doesn't stay big forever. It just gets smaller and smaller and smaller because you don't realize you've done more and more and more and more towards that goal. So that's one. So go ahead and write the book. Someone will say, you know what, I'm going to start saving for my house. Well, you know what, go ahead and start making those small sacrifices and work your way up. Start saving at $5, Do that for a while. Then when you know you can do 10, you start doing 10. It doesn't have to be those numbers. It can be whatever numbers you agree to, right? It could be 25, and then you might can go to 30, 35, 40, 50. I don't know. If you balling and you making it rain, you might be able to do 100. Well, whatever it is, start in that place and then work your way up. And then work towards that goal. Sometimes with social media and technology, we think everything happens fast. We see influencers online and we're like, oh, wow, they went from like rags to riches like overnight in like 5 months. They were just like living high on a hug. Please, people, let's be realistic. Things take time. Okay, and then you have to give yourself that time and that space. And sometimes we get so hard on ourselves because we couldn't accomplish what it appears this person has accomplished to us. But these things take time, so don't be so hard on yourself. Know that you're working towards a goal. And sometimes it's about a means to an end. Okay, I could think about when I was working on my degrees, right? I was like, oh man, I don't know. This stuff, I ain't going to school anymore. After the bachelor's degree, I was like, never, ever. I was like, I'm tired. Like, goodness gracious. And then there I was in my master's program. Did the same thing. I said, master's. I said, oh, my God, it is over. I was like, the next time I know I was in the PhD program. And I was working in administrative support positions because that was a means to an end. In order for me to be able to acquire what I wanted with the PhD and to someday be able to work at a university. Don't get me wrong, I love administrative support, and I'm not saying that one is less than the other. I'm just talking about what my passions and desires were, and that was one of them.
As SOSA says, one of their goals is living in the present more and reducing overthinking.
Oh man, yeah, overthinking. I know. Like, how many of you all out there are analyzers? And sometimes I overanalyze everything. It's like peeling back the onion. Like there's always another layer. So yeah, sometimes we can overthink and we can really get ourselves kind of bundled up or like caught up in a sense, tied up with our own thoughts. And it can keep us from doing certain things, especially those things that we want to accomplish or that we have desires about. I mean, that's everything from relationships to new jobs to going back to school for some or getting some type of new certification or learning something new, whatever that thing is, a new trade, a new artistic skill. It doesn't matter, whatever that thing is. Sometimes we can get really caught up in our own thoughts, and those thoughts can at times hold us back. So yeah, you're right. I agree with that resolution. I think a lot of us could do to add that to our list. And so we definitely have to continue to push through those, push through those thoughts and continue to go forward. But as we're thinking about process, everything requires some level of process and some level of sacrifice. Sometimes we want things, but we don't want to give up anything. You want to sacrifice something, whether it's your time, your money, your efforts, investment, you name it. There are various things we may have to sacrifice of ourselves. And as I was watching the holidays and with one of my sisters and her husband and my niece and nephews, and just watching, there is no greater sacrifice than that of parenting. I'm gonna tell you what that requires. That's sacrificing everything. You sacrifice your heart, you sacrifice your life, your spirit, your finances, your home, everything. You give up everything. And parents would do it over and over and over again because they love their children so much. And I see that as sacrifice. So there are some things that you want and desire that's going to cost you something. It's going to cost you something, and you have to figure out whether or not that cost is something that you're willing to pay. Are you going to pay the debtor when that cost comes? I think about many of our revolutionaries during that time, not just the ones of old and our ancestors, as we remember them, especially during the time of Kwanzaa, right? We really remember our ancestors and the sacrifices that they gave for us and for our freedom and so on. But I think about those who are actually fighting causes today. And some have given up their lives, their families, they've sacrificed so much, their peace of mind. They have peace in, yeah, I'm fighting for the right thing. I know I'm doing the right thing. But sometimes peace leaves when you're getting bomb threats or people threatening you or you're losing your job or people wanting to sue you or do this or that because you're speaking truth to power. So yes, that's a sacrifice. So that's what I mean. You have to count the cost and make sure that you're ready, for that particular thing that you may be choosing to do. So that is part of what we do when we prepare for the new year. Now, how many of you all say, I'm gonna go to the gym, and then you go, but you do that for only like 2 months? I would love to know that because I know sometimes I'll be like, yeah. And I really do enjoy working out. I'm fit no matter what. Even when I work out, lose weight, I'm just still thick. That's me, that's my build. But being there in the gym, you feel good after the workout, but then usually life starts to happen and it can become chaotic. So we have to make sure that we remember to set aside time that is for us. That time when we say, what, our health is important, our physical health, our mental health, and our spiritual health. And maybe you all can share things that you do to help maintain these things, to help strive for it, but to also help maintain it. The more I see the world, the more I see what's going on in social media, the more I see the things that come out, boy, we definitely need to spend more time with ourselves to make sure that we are right, And when I say right, that we are together, that we are of sound mind, and spirit and heart. Because some people are just off, man. I don't know. It's some wild things that go on. So we want to make sure that we are investing time in ourselves in those various areas, and even financially, to make sure that we are financially sound. But again, life happens over and over and over again, and things can come in fast, and you think you're ready, you think you have enough, but then you find yourself there, and it's like, oh Lord, no, not this again. So then you kind of get off track, and then you find yourself, moving more and more away from those things. So we have to definitely make sure that we have a lot of that we have goals that include personal care, that we are taking care of ourselves. Let's see, And then after we're moving past that, I'm trying to think of some popular ones that we hear. I know a lot of people always talk about losing weight, but I think we should just be focused on being healthy. And I think in focusing on being healthy, then that weight loss will come and other things will come, but you have to figure out what works for you, because what works for one doesn't work for another. Some people will need to change their eating habits, some need to work out more, some need to do some other things. Some may have to, some may require surgery or other things to kind of assist in that journey. So again, different strokes for different folks, but whatever it is, find that out. What is that thing that you like, oh no, I want to be able to do this or accomplish this, but I just don't think that I can. It just seems too big. Or too unrealistic. I want to know those things too, because I think those are things we should strive for. I really do. Sometimes we limit ourselves to those things that we just think we can reach, but at times we need to be stretched. We need to be stretched, and sometimes we have to be stretched to reach our higher goals or our higher ideals. Okay, just even in self, how we deal with or handle one another. Like, for instance, if you lie, you might need to practice telling the truth, right? It might be easy for you to lie. You might lie at the drop of the hat. But, speaking truth may cause you to have to stretch beyond yourself, to reach a higher goal, a higher ideal. I encourage you in that effort. I really do. I think your life will be way better.
What's your higher goal?
That's the question. Okay, my higher goal. Oh, wow. Well, I want to write a children's book series. Okay? So I am looking to do that. I have a program that I have to create this year. And I'm looking forward to that. It's a summer program, so I'm very, very excited about that. That's going to stretch me. The book is going to stretch me, the books, because children's books, people think, oh, that's easy, but no, you have to be able to capture a child in a certain way while teaching certain lessons, okay, but then also being able to pull them in with the colors and the images, and then as you teaching them lessons, little life lessons, you have to teach them that within so many words, and you have to figure out who's going to be your target audience, like what age group, and so on and so forth. Who are you going to use as the illustrator? How much is that going to cost you? Are you going to self-publish, or are you going to go through a publisher? All of these things, you start to think about it, and you're like, all of a sudden, the more you mention it, it's like that thing gets further and further and further away, like, oh, Lord, I don't know if I had the time, I don't know if I had the finances, the creativity, woo, 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 woo. But then, I started thinking like, no, that's great, because these are ways that I can learn to stretch myself so that I can accomplish, those things. And that's just one, I have a couple of others that are nestled away that I hope I will be able to stretch and reach out. Stretch myself for, because it's just like with exercise. And if you're not stretching, if you're not really engaging your muscles and creating some level of resistance, you're not going to really have a great end product, You're not going to get toned up. You're not going to gain certain strength. You can think about it just like when lifting weights. If you just keep lifting 10 pounds, and you don't eventually go to 15 to 20 to 25 to 30 to 35, you're going to stay stuck there. So my goal is to learn how to pick up more spiritual strength, more mental strength, okay, emotional strength, to grow strong in those ways and in other ways that I may consider, like with my creativity or becoming an entrepreneur in a particular area, and, just reaching for those things that I think are, they're attainable, but it's like they're not readily attainable. Like, I just can't reach out and do this. It's going to take a lot of work and investment and time, and so I want to be able to do those things. And that's some of what I'm speaking of. Let's see, other things for bringing in the new year. Whew. Now relationships, that's always a fun, because I'm gonna tell y'all, some of y'all have some good things. You know, you're in a real good day shift, boost shift, but then some of y'all, okay, it's situationship, right? It's not producing, it's not flourishing, it's not, if it's a garden, you know, you don't see any new growth, any new, but matter of fact, you may have some stuff in that garden that's dead, you know, or that's drying out and dying. It needs some revitalization. So one or two things, either you have to do some things differently, or you may have to consider whether or not this is the best situation for you, because it should be creating growth and maturity. You know, in relationships, if it's taking your happiness away from you, your peace away from you, and you're not growing, you're not stretching, you're not becoming a better person in this situation, you need to really consider some things, okay? And the situationship is not the ideal ship you want to be on. Anywho, that is not a relationship goal you should have, or should you want. If you're going to have that relationship, let it be, let it be something that enriches your life. And then if it does, then do the right thing by the person you're with, you know, and make that thing solid. Commit, devote, put in the work, you know, put in the effort, invest. And some of you all may be able to share some of the ways in which you knew, like, oh, this person was that, this person was the one for me, and they have shown to be the one for you. And you have fruit, meaning you have proof that this thing worked. This person was for you. Okay, and so show that, or you can share it when you knew that it wasn't. Like what was something that you saw that you were like, oh no, that's not it. Because I think as we go into the new year is not a magical number. But what I think happens, it causes us to reflect. It forces us to reflect on the year. It causes us to reflect on life, what we've done, what we've accomplished, what has changed in our lives within ourselves, what has happened all year long, where has the time gone, how have we invested our time. Time is very precious, and that can be gone at any moment. So how you choose to invest your time is very important. How you use it with others. And most often, how we use it with others is based upon relationship. Whether it's a coworker, a boyfriend, a girlfriend, a husband, wife, children, siblings, I don't care, friend, best friend, associates, like people like to use the term, I think casual relationships, I hear that a lot. Whatever that is, how are you investing your time? What's important to you? Who is important to you? And how do you show them that? You know, and so I think those are things that we have to start thinking about. And yes, sometimes we ought to require more for ourselves and not just settle and just take someone's bare minimum. Because I promise you, it's going to be somebody else that's going to require more. And it's going to be somebody else that's going to require their best. And they're going to give it, okay? So, you know, recognize the signs when people value you and when they don't. And so that's very important as we go into the year. Who's investing in you? And who are you investing too much into, where you notice you're giving of yourself and resources, but that person is not doing the same in return. These are important things we must think about going into the new year. Spiritually speaking, let's meditate, yes, right. But going into the new year, I think it's important to also consider ourselves spiritually. How are we doing spiritually? How are we doing mentally and emotionally? How do we check in? Sometimes I spoke earlier of being fragmented, and sometimes we get so fragmented. We here, there, we give ourselves at work, we give ourselves at home with our family members, we give ourselves in our personal, relationships, and we're in this, that, or this extracurricular activity, this, and we're going this place and that place, and doing this, that, and we just seem to be all over the place. And we just scattered. But when it comes to our own mental health, emotional, spiritual health, we're not there. We're not whole. So I think part of going into the new year is to find that wholeness again, to get grounded. Sometimes we start off strong, but we don't end strong because we get scattered, because problems, life, health, you name it, can just easily gnaw away at us too. And so you see these areas decline. Of course, everything's not going to always be good. Sometimes there are going to be troubles. There's going to be heartbreak. There's going to be disappointments. I'm not talking about those things. Those things happen. But that's why I think it's even more important that at the end of the year, going into the beginning of a new one, that we think about those things and do what we must to ground ourselves, to center ourselves, to bring that wholeness that we need spiritually, to bring that wholeness that we need mentally. Sometimes we just need to be still. We need to rest. We need to think. We need to write out a plan. You know, what are we going to do? Sometimes I think we just roam aimlessly through life, like, okay, let's see what happens. But it's okay to plan too, you know? It's okay to plan, to have something like, what are you working towards? What are you doing? And then take that time and actually plan, you know, and not just be out there winging it, you know? You have to take that time to figure out what it is you're going to do, even if it's for a year or if you do 5 years, 2 years, so that you're working towards something, you're investing towards something. You're just not out here waiting for whatever to fall out of the sky. Now, if something does happen, then great, that's groovy, yeah. But that's not the way we should be doing it. You know, our time is just so valuable. You know, you don't want to just waste it moment hoping for the next big moment, or waiting to see what the next thing is. No, you should be working towards some things. And then those surprises, that's great, you know? And then I think it helps us to be prepared in life when we do proper planning. It is so important to, I think, many of our life outcomes. Things that we work toward. So, yeah, so a little spiritual, mental, and emotional grounding so that we can recenter ourselves and be ready to go into the next year with a bang. Because I'm gonna tell you, sometimes it feels like the years hit us like with this, like. Mm-mm. So we have to be ready to take on that new year and to be focused. So I think those are some things we may want to challenge ourselves with to make sure that we are grounded in those ways. Mental health is very important. We need to take care of that. Take some wusa time. Take some time for you, whatever that looks like. If it's a weekend or if it's some quiet time at home in the evenings. Whatever works for you, make sure you do it. Some of you all have leave and work and don't even use it. Like, really? Use that time. Take that time off and rest so you can be renewed to be able to continue to do what you do and to do it better. So your mind can be clear, so you can hear and see and experience those new things. Sometimes you get caught in such a rut that you can't even see what's before you. So, and you can't see the future either because you're so caught up in all these other things. So it's also good to bring about clarity so you can continue to plan, so you can see what your life purpose is, so you can see where your interests are. And yeah, you can begin to settle things like that. So, and emotional, make sure you being loved up on and make sure you give it the same. It should be reciprocated, right? We should have love of self and love of others. It's hard if you don't love yourself to enter into another type of relationship with something with love, even with work. There has to be some type of love there for something in what you do. And again, I understand sometimes it's a means to an end to work towards getting to that place. But please, you have to find that love of self. And then I think that's what flows over into family, into those interpersonal relationships, into community, then on a national level, right? So on and so forth. We can keep building and building upon that, because then that spirit of love spreads. But when you don't have that, you take the very opposite into situations. And I think we have to be mindful of that. So that is that. So I think these are just various things we can do. And remember to have fun. Life is for living. Okay, because I know like in some people's homes, right, you go in and you cannot go into the living room, right? That's considered sacred space. You don't sit on it, you don't sit on it, meaning the couch or the sofa, the chair, you don't use the table, all of this stuff. You just can't enter in. And I remember my grandfather told us when we were young, my grandmother growing up, she had a lot of porcelain, things like that, just very nice things around the home. And we used to be up in there playing, running through, wrestling, and doing all types of things. All of our grandkids, we just be having ourselves a good time. Her nieces and nephews would come through, same thing. Adults doing what they do as they came through. And I was like, Granddad, I go into some houses and they don't allow us in their living room. I said, why do you allow us, your grandkids to be all around the house and being rambunctious and things? He said, we teach you all how to treat things. He said, but the living room is for living. And so I never forgot that. So I'm like, life is for living. Enjoy it. Have fun. Do those things that you wouldn't normally do. Try those foods you wouldn't normally try. Go to those places you wouldn't normally go. Enjoy life. Learn to laugh a little. Learn to enjoy the bit. Stop working for a moment. Go smell the flowers, as they like to say. Go catch a movie. Okay, go work in your garden. I don't care what it is, but enjoy it. Spend time with loved ones. Sometimes we get so bogged down with work or things that we're working on that we lose connection with. Whoa, see? Oh, wow. Maybe this I'm really on point. Or we lose connection with those around us, those people that we love. And because we're so engaged in what we're doing, and before we know it, years have passed, relationships have gone astray because that time has not been invested and spent. You forgot to enjoy what has been given to you. So enjoy that. Enjoy those whom God has blessed you with, those family members, those friends and things, those communities. Enjoy it. Enjoy them. Enjoy yourself. Okay? You. Enjoy you. Take some joy in that, some pride in that. Love you enough to take care of you. Love you enough to take you on vacation. Love you enough to, get pampered, whether that means like a massage or some shopping therapy, whatever that is, do that for you. You deserve it. Okay? And we have to do better about that going into a new year. So, again, as we get ready to close, I wish you all a very happy and prosperous new year. I hope that many good things will come your way. I pray some of your dreams will come true. If all of them can come true, even better. But I hope it does. I hear, what's his name? Donnie Simpson, right? On the radio. He always say, shoot for the moon, but if you miss, you still land amongst the stars. And I find that to be so true. So yes, so reach for your biggest goals. And if quite you don't get to that point in this year, I promise you, you will be much closer to that thing than further away. Okay? And then you can build on that following year. And remember, we're all a work in progress. We're all trying to do this thing and get it better. So don't be hard on yourself. We learn. Life is for living, but it's also for learning. And I think with that, we learn every day. We learn every year how to be better human beings to one another, and how to be better at navigating this thing called life. Okay, so don't be hard on yourselves. Remember to enjoy this year. Remember how amazing you are, how great and wonderful and beautiful you are. I want you to win in life. I'm rooting for you to be victorious, for your voice to be heard in the world, for you to accomplish great and amazing things, for you to find love if that's what you're looking for as well, for you to get the new house, the new car, the new degree, to pass your courses for this semester so you can get into the next level of your academic career. Whatever that thing is, I am rooting for you to accomplish that good and to experience that with so much love and support and whatever else is needed of resources to make that thing come true. You got this. If you didn't think, you can do it. I believe in you. If you haven't heard that, I do. I really do believe in you. I believe in your ability. And I believe in your heart to be able to love. It's in there. It might not look like someone else's, but you know what? It's in you to be you. God created you as you, not as someone else. So be that person and allow the world to see just how amazing and beautiful you are. And I will look forward to seeing you after the new year. Now, I'm not going to tell y'all if it's going to be a guest or not because if it is, we'll just find out when we get on to see if that's how that thing will go down. So I won't have to be like, what happened was. But I love you all. I appreciate your love and support and checking in with us every week. So stay strong, be blessed.